is the regular meeting council for Tuesday, December 9th. We are at 7:03. And so I will call the meeting to order. Again, in attendance online and here in the gallery. Be aware that our meetings are recorded for public viewing and placed on a publicly available website. We will acknowledge that we are on the unceded First Nations land of Ihattaset Chiniki territory. And if I could get someone to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you for that, Councillor Deck. Any additions, deletions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That one's carried.
Motion to adopt the minutes of the November 25th, 2025 regular meeting of council.
Do I have a seconder?
Second.
Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is carried. I will note before we go into our business arising from the minutes that we did have the CAO David Leach. It's on delegations and petitions from those last minutes. Come in and did give a presentation about regional planning service and the connected coast. We've had a question about that this evening that I had missed. So just for so the public's aware, that recording will be available online. And that was about the connected coast project, the internet, high-speed internet. So business arising from the minutes. We have a report for direction from the Deputy Corporate Officer regarding the auction of the Ford F-550 garbage truck and a price adjustment. There were no bids submitted at that price point, at that $5,000 price point. So we have some kind of choices here. We could advertise it for a lesser price. I mean, really, that's when no bids are produced. Maybe that's the direction to go. So that's the recommendation from staff. Anyway, did you have anything else to add to that, Deputy Corporate Officer?
No.
Okay, just making sure. So does that sound like a reasonable thing to do with council?
Yep.
I'd like to move that the village advertise a 2000 garbage truck for sale with an upset price of $3,500. Through a sealed bid process available to the public with a closing date of January 30th, 2026.
Second that.
Second that.
Councillor, I'll take Councillor Lewis. That was a little quicker, the delay online there. Thank you for that. Questions or comments? If after this closes, it is not sold, then what would be the next steps? Would we want to consider doing it for a lower price? Would we use some other mechanism? We'll consider that then.
I think at that price point, it would just be a re-advertisement until sale. I don't think that it would be worthwhile to go any lower.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments from council? Last chance, get that truck. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's carried, folks. Thank you for that. No delegations and petitions this evening. We are on correspondence for an ABICC call for resolutions. So this is council's opportunity to bring any of those kind of resolutions, problems we're having, what's causing the problem, go through to our advocating system, which is the Association of Vancouver Advocating lobbying group, the Association of Vancouver Island Coastal Communities. And then those, then if they are BC-wide problems, issues, then they get forwarded to the Union of BC Municipalities Conference for delegates to vote on. So, any resolutions that you would like to see come through? We included in the package was one of ours from last year. And that was the legislation changes requested to have a more fulsome consultation process with municipalities. Is there anything that staff wanted to add to that?
Thank you. I think that one is still very evident as we go through the Heritage Conservation Act and now the changes to the professional review, that the M216 that's currently being pushed through the legislation. Again, local governments have not had an opportunity to respond to some of these legislative changes in a timely manner.
And thank you for bringing up that Heritage Act revamp. The sweeping changes that are happening again, download on communities, and for communities that have a staff of 100, they're having a hard time with those. It changes a lot, and so thank you for pointing that out. Councillor Jack, I see your hand up. What say you, sir?
Thank you. Can we not push our resolution from last year forward again?
That's through to the CAO. Is that an option that we have in our?
Absolutely. If we haven't seen the changes that were requested, absolutely bringing it forward again is something that can be done.
And would you consider including, or would council consider including in the background some of the new things that have been brought forward? Including that in the background of this, like the naming the ones that have been brought forward. So since this resolution was endorsed last year at ABICC, these are the reasons we're putting it through again. Is that something council would like to see, or just leave it as is?
Makes sense.
Well, I guess we could add a little bit to it if there's new information. Yeah, I'm for that. Yep.
Yeah, something to the effect of, while this was endorsed last year through the ABICC convention, we have still seen sweeping changes without municipal involvement and consultation that are still happening. So just something basic to that effect. Was it endorsed at UBCM as well? I believe it was. Yeah, it was endorsed at UBCM as well. So it's gone through all of the area association and the full BC association, and the delegates there endorsed it, that yeah, these things are happening, it's a problem, it's an issue, so they're still doing it. So perfect. And then oh, so do you need that in a resolution?
Yes, please.
So Councillor Jack, what had you said, that we put our legislative changes consultation process resolution back through ABICC again? Is that the motion?
Yes, please.
Okay, and then Councillor Lewis has a second for that. Conversation around that. We've done it. Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So that's carried. Also, are there any other ones that have come up for anyone since you have reviewed your agenda that you think we should be pushing for? Lots of issues out there, but are there any that we want to tackle? I have one suggestion. I have a suggestion when we were discussing with road users, groups, industry about our last resolution that went through for our one funding, one grader operator model for this road, which is working its way forward. I'm very happy to say. There was conversation about projects on logging roads that didn't include, they were project based, but they didn't return the road with a topping base that would be considered. I'd just like to add for them to add a line item to have a surface base, bring it back to the shape that it was before. We had a conversation here on the break about where they did the logging on the road. I don't know where that is, but kilometer 12, yeah, 12, 10, something like that. And how it's so soupy in there. And after they do projects, what happens is there isn't enough to do a surface layer of the fines of the surfacing of it. So it winds up this soupy mess for the next year. I think it would get it back into shape quicker if we asked the province when they were doing those projects to include a surfacing line item to bring the road back into a usable shape quicker for the convenience of road users. Is that something that has any interest to this council? Councillor Deck.
That has a lot of interest for me. If that's a resolution that can be put through, I'm 100% go for that.
Okay, and if that's the will of council, then I will get together with the CAO and kind of get some, I'm sure that staff will of course get the information from the appropriate channels that they need to, just to ensure that I'm not out of line doing that actually is, you know, something that we can fight for as an association for the logging roads on Vancouver Island. So it's a suggestion. I don't have a, what my motion would be is that we research, putting in an ABICC resolution. And I didn't write it down, sorry. I made a pad of paper and everything. That we research putting in an ABICC resolution regarding topping materials. Gravel topping materials to, yeah, so that we research that.
So
adding to projects.
I put that staff research and EBICC resolution regarding Ministry of Forest, including funding for topping materials, binding fines in Forest Service road major maintenance projects.
You are fantastic, and I appreciate that. Getting all of that from what I was talking about. So that would be my, that would be a motion. So that's my motion that we put in. Any conversation about that? Think we're getting too far in the weeds or anything here?
The sooner the better.
Councilor Lewis?
Will that also include the logging companies that muck up the road? That's where it's all gummy. That's the logging company's fault.
Yeah, well, yeah, so it is actually. So yeah, if we could add that to that, that's a really good amendment to that motion that we add and require. Well, it depends how, if our resolution actually has any teeth in it, that we get one provider. Then, yeah, so that it include road companies using the road. So as an end of project kind of. How does that sound for folks? Reasonable ask?
Yep.
Seeing nods?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all in favor?
Fine.
Any opposed? That is carried. CAO, is this our second call for resolutions?
There was one in November. Let me just see if I can find the final.
February 12th is the resolutions
So we'll have,
deadline.
yeah, we'll have one more at the January 24th meeting.
So as you're talking to your counterparts in local government, as you're talking to people around town, as you're, navigating this world, if you're seeing anything that you wanted to add, we do have until the next meeting to get something in. If this is, brought forward anything for you. We would consider any of those at our next meeting, which would be in January. Good. Okay, folks, nothing else on that. Let's move along. Portfolios. We have in front of you our portfolios for last year. We have mayor appointments and council appointments. Gail Nelson Smith, are we doing both of those this meeting?
Thank you. Especially the acting mayor one, so that can be announced with our calendar of meetings prior to January.
Perfect. So we have Councillor Jack from January 2026 to March 2026. We have Councillor Janice from April 2026 to June 2026. And then we have Councillor Lewis from July to September. Councillor Jack, I see your hand up.
Yes, that one looks good to me, and I will stand for all the appointments that I've done this year. I'll do them again next year.
All right. I actually don't know what's going on with any of those appointments. So, I mean, thank you for saying that. I definitely appreciate that. I don't know what is going on with any of these boards or any of the portfolios or any of those. I don't think we've ever kind of received a report. And so actually, no, that's a lie. There was a verbal report in the, I think that was from you, Councillor Jack, about the solid waste. So included in these, I did see our portfolio assignments, and it's that we keep the council informed through regular reporting on the relevant committees. Maybe like every 2 or 3 months, if we wanted to consider even just a verbal report to kind of and especially as I said that you did, Councillor Jack, with that solid waste, I'm really keen to know what's going on there, especially do with the landfill closure, especially to do with the recycling and composting that's going on across the valley. All of those kinds of things are of real interest to me, and the moving of the well, possibly the location, I guess I would say, of a transfer station. So I know that solid waste is, kind of got my eye, and the hospital district as well. I'm not sure what's going on there ever. I know VIRL kind of takes care of it. The Vancouver Island Regional Library kind of takes care of itself. Councillor Deck, I see your hand up, sir.
Yes. As far as solid waste management, I should be able to give you a decent report early in the year, because it seems like they're finally getting somewhere. It's been a slow go. But I have the feeling that we may get to first or even second base this year. So I'll be able to inform you the best I can.
Perfect, thank you for that. And I think I do recognize that they've done a lot of surveying and a lot of, they're making a new solid waste plan. So that's a lot of like, considerations from the public. So I do recognize that that has been a slow project and thank you for your service on that for sure. So let's do the acting mayor one first. You want that by resolution?
Yes, please.
I'll move that the acting mayor appointments go as written in the 2026 mayor's appointment of council portfolios included in the December 9th report from the CAO.
Second now.
There's a little path of least resistance right there, right? Questions or comments on that, acting mayor? Everybody's in agreement on that one? And then we're done, folks. So it only has 3. All in favor? Any opposed? For this term anyways. SRD board. So then if you're going to be on that solid waste board, then you would again be my alternate at the SRD. And I do want to make apologies to you, Councillor Deck. I should have checked this the last time I was away from an SRD meeting. I didn't. We had the emails wrong. I hope that you're now receiving the SRD meeting agendas.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for that. Okay, we've got that sorted out with staff, so that will follow us through till this next year. So I will appoint as my alternate, make a motion to appoint as my alternate Councillor Deck for the SRD. And then that would make him my alternate for this Comox Strathcona. Oh, do you want those separate?
No, that's.
Okay, the Comox Strathcona Waste Management Board and the Comox Strathcona Hospital District. Reasonable with everyone.
Yes.
Okay, we've already done Deck and Denise for the library. We have 2 that are open. So actually 4 that are open essentially. And that is the tourism portfolio and the road user group. I'm going to stay on as that road user group first, and I will push that this year. But I'd like to know if there was any interest, especially on that tourism. And if not, I'll just appoint you. So I would say, oh, that last motion was for the, was that seconded?
No.
So I get a second for the SRD, the
Second.
Comox Waste in the hospital. So all in favor of Councillor Deck being my alternate for the SRD Waste Management Hospital? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. The IRL has been done. Tourism portfolio. So I am going to appoint Councillor Janice as first, and the alternate is Councillor Lewis. Do I have a seconder for that?
Oh, second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And road user group, interest
Yes.
from anyone? Okay, so Lewis will be 1. Any interest from anyone else? Councillor Janice. That's what's gonna happen. And you're second alternate, so I don't think it will be a timely, it will be take a lot of your time, sir. So for the road user group, Council Rep 1 is Mayor Colburn, Council 2 is Councillor Lewis, and the alternate is Councillor Janice. Do I have a seconder for that?
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Then that's carried. Okay. Oh, where are we at?
Who's the alternate, sorry, for tourism?
Councilor Lewis.
Okay, thank you.
And then we do not have a board of variance. We're in contravention there. So anyone in the public that's listening out there, there is one member of the board of variance. We are required to have 3, not on council. Thank you. Emergency planning, we've got Kathy Denham. I hear there's been some interest
Yes,
in filling the emergency social services director position.
yes, I believe an application is coming forward to council.
Perfect, interesting. That's great. Volunteers, we've got a list of volunteers for the library, a list of volunteers for the museum. We've got a good, healthy, decent department list. And I believe maybe some of those positions may change, but I just kind of heard that through the grapevine through talking to Chief Aaron on the street, so I don't put any, you know, Councilor Jack, I see your hand up, sir.
Yes, are you missing any so far? Any appointments or?
We are good. We've got the
We're good?
Vancouver Regional Library, we've got the tourism portfolio, we've got the road user group. Those are the only mayor appointments.
Good, good. And if I may, to Councillor Janice, being the second alternate will probably help you get a reservation in a restaurant.
Second alternate. Okay, folks, so that is my appointment. The portfolios, council portfolio policy. Make sure you read through that so you know what your responsibilities and roles are. Next we've got proposed was there anything else to add to that stuff? I think you got everything you needed. Proposed council meetings. There's a staff report in here regarding that. Oh, I had to look through it and didn't see anything. Oh, did you need a resolution on that last report? We did them all.
No,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So annual meeting schedule available to the public, and as the CAO said, those appointments for acting mayor will feed into this calendar. Anybody see any issues with that, or are we going to accept this?
Looks good to me.
Do you want to make the recommendation then that council adopt the 2026 regular meeting as presented?
I move that so.
Second that.
Councillor Lewis seconded. Any other discussion? We don't have to move anything for Remembrance Day this year. All in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Council remuneration review. Thank you for bringing this forward. It's the last year of this term. Great time to do it. Set up the next people. I think that doing it this way it's transparency, so that you're not coming onto council and then setting your own rates, and then it just, the optics of that are a little weird. So thank you for bringing this report forward. So of course, this is a budget item. So in order to do that, we need to begin a review and look at what everybody else is doing, because we don't want to be out of line, especially as the smallest municipality. We don't want to pay ourselves too much. Does anybody have any questions or comments on this report? Who will you go to? Similar sized, similar makeup.
typically Civic Info, which is nonpartisan branch collects a bunch of information, and that's usually our first go-to, but then also reach out to our neighbors like Cassis, Sayward, Gold River, Port Alice, similar sizes.
Mhm.
And similar area.
Mhm.
And put it together for council review. A high end and a low end, and
Okay. Perfect. Thank you for that. So hearing that, that's the research that'll go into it.
Do the recommendation. Recommend that, or council's asters, sorry. Recommend that council direct staff to research and provide options for a council remuneration review as part of the 2026 operating budget process.
Second.
And knowing that this will feed into our next council, that this isn't us giving ourselves a raise right at the end of our term. That's not what the process looks like. The process looks like we are setting the rates for the next council. Just wanted to make that clear in case there was any questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? That's carried. Proposed skate park relocation. So at the November 12th meeting, the committee of the whole, council directed staff to relocate the existing park components to the basketball court by the community hall and to retain this Ted Lewis skate park designation. You need from us CAO.
and just direction from council. This was discussed at the committee of the whole meeting, so ratification or change.
Perfect. Okay, so that's what we're looking for here. Councillor Janice, I see your hand up.
Yes, thank you. As discussed, I would like to move that council direct staff to relocate the existing skate park components to the baseball court located behind the community hall while retaining the name Ted Lewis Skate Park.
I second that.
Thank you for that. Questions or comments? Again, I wasn't at that meeting and I didn't watch the video. Sorry about that. I do have a whole bunch of questions though. And I'm wondering who council talked to in town before making the decision. The reason I'm asking is because I've talked to a whole lot of people about it since I read the agenda on Friday. And I'm just wondering, like, I know that it's not well used over there. I know it's kind of geared, the initiative was made, was part of like the Ted Lewis legacy, and it was made to be over there for a purpose to use infrastructure. I feel like we're losing a piece of recreational equipment by losing a basketball court. I know how well this one is used because I live across the street. So that whole thing started, it was the use of the infrastructure of the old tennis court. It was out of the way. There was something about, and I talked to a previous counselor about this, there was something about while the ball field is being used, that there was something for the kids to do. The kids I've talked to are like, we kind of like it back there. I mean, it is geared towards teens, right? And so they kind of like it back there, at least the two that I talked to. And I also feel like it's not used partially because of the surfacing and partially because of the elements than where they're situated. So I was actually really against this motion, but then I talked to a bunch of people and I'm not as against it. I'm still not going to vote in favor of it because of the things that I've said. The teens really like it over there. It's a usable, another usable space for the hall. It's a flat piece of ground for, setting tables on, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I know that the fire department has done training over there using that as a flat surface, so they're not in the roadway. I just feel like we're losing something if we move that park over here. So, the one thing I will ask is through staff to Public Works, would you get an actual skate park builder and user to consult with the makeup of what that track looks like? Because the person I talked to that used to build skate parks said that there isn't enough. Oh geez, I'm gonna get this wrong. I don't know the language that he used. Maybe I wrote it down. The speed to do the components. So when you come off a 4-foot drop, you have enough speed to go up a 4-foot, like there's a physics thing or something in there. And the person who saw our park was like, you have these elements, but they're way out in the middle of nowhere. Like there's no cohesiveness to the park. And so that was a reason why they never skated over there. So I'm wondering if that's something that you would do, is like consult like an engineer of the products and someone to do kind of a site plan for it. So there was a like a track instead of just pieces and parts here and there.
If council wishes for me to do that, for sure, I would do that. The way I kind of came up with seeing if it would fit over here, I just took a outside perimeter of what is and how it currently is, took the square footage of that, and then measured over here to see if it would fit within that layout, and then it would fit within that. They're very similar, actually, square footage of that. Yeah, that's kind of how I came up with it, but yeah.
Okay. Oh, CEO, please.
Thank you. Just happenstance, Port Hardy has very recently installed a new skate park. I may be able to get contact information of who put that together, and see if we can get some further information on, appropriate distances apart to gain exactly what you're saying, the momentum needed to actually properly use and it may end up using less space.
Well, and that's what I was thinking maybe when I got talking to people. So when I first read it, I was like, no, wait, hold on. I don't want that. No, that's over here. No, that shouldn't. But the more I got talking to people, if it was put in a particular way, then it would add value, right? So yeah. Thank you for that. Councillor Deck. Oh, are you frozen?
He's
Hello? No. Shoot.
That's a pretty serious face.
It is he's really considering what staff said.
Deep in thought, yeah.
Yeah.
Le pensée.
Okay, well, I'm just wondering how we can, and also we are doing Parks Master Plan, so I would assume that, some of these questions would be answered. I'm uncomfortable making the decision, not having more information. That's where I'm at with it. I also do wonder about the park name as well. So will we take down the alley like that, this park memorialization, and put a different park? I don't know how that's going to work either. Councillor Deck, sorry, I did get to you, but you were frozen. What?
Yes, I'm gone. I could get out my old skateboard, and I'm pretty sure there's enough room to put 2 half-pipe in the new location there. So if CAO Nelson Smith wanted to join me, we could have a skate off and see if it actually is a good spot for the new park. Thank you.
I actually have an old deck.
I thank you for that, sir. There's one you can use in my storefront if you'd like. And actually, the person I was going to ask about it that I thought would have the most familiarity with it was like skate parks. So I couldn't even ask them. I had to go outside and yeah. I'm not worried about the space for the park. What I'm worried about is, the comments I got that the kids like it over there, that it was a use of infrastructure, that it's maybe more because of the configuration as well as the surface. I know that surface is poor, that we'll use usable space at the hall and the basketball court, which I know kids use for a fact. I see it. And the naming issue. The park already has a name. Are we going to take down the old park name and use a new park name? Has anyone considered that person's family or gotten any history on that? I don't have enough information on it. And from what I've heard from people, the one older adult and then the 2 teens that I talked to, like we go chill out. It's good to be in the back and like, you know, it's a skate park for that teen, something for the teenagers to do, which we definitely lack here. Anyways, there is a motion on the table and it is the recommendation that is in the report. So, would you want a separate thing? Would you want a separate resolution to add for council's consideration to actually ask a builder and a user about configuration? Would that be a separate motion?
That's completely up to council.
What do you guys think that we get, you know, someone who builds them and uses them for usability and layout to help us with that? I would put it out there as a separate motion if you wanted to get this one off the table, to see if it passes. Councillor Janice.
I don't think that's necessary. I think that's something that we could, our team can figure out. And I think based on the cost of like $120,000 to revamp this skate park, it's just not going to happen. So we should put it somewhere where at least the equipment can be used properly. And that was part of our discussion already. I know you weren't part of that. And I think we've already decided to follow through. So that's my 2 cents.
I think Councillor Jack's frozen again.
No.
No. Okay, so the motion that is on the table is that council directs staff to relocate the existing park, the components to the ball field while retaining the name Ted Lewis Skate Park. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That would be me. I would be opposed for all those reasons.
Because of the naming. So I'm gonna have to oppose it at this time.
We could defer it for more information, which is Councillor CAO Nelson Smith. What is your?
Sorry, I was just for additional information. Is it the entire property that was named after this person, or could we name just the skate park, continue to name just the skate park?
That is a will of this council, and that's information that they might want to have, or they might not even want to consider. The question was, is it just the skate park that will be named the Ted Lewis Skate Park? Will it be the park area? There's already a park name here at the community hall.
What's the name of it?
The Alley Nielsen Memorial Park.
Who is that?
So the Nielsen family, my understanding is that a long-serving family that lived here had lost their daughter. That's just my understanding of it. I don't know for sure. That's a research question for staff.
Okay, so we can still call it the Ted Lewis Skate Park and still have her name on it as the surrounding area. We don't have to take one away.
Okay. Councillor Dack?
Yeah, I agree with Councillor Janice. The skate park will still be called Ted Lewis Skate Park. And the surrounding area, the name that it has now. I don't see that makes any difference at all.
Okay. Okay, so we were on a motion. We've got 2 in favor, 1 opposed.
And I'm gonna go in favor. It needs to be.
That's
used.
3 in favor. Perfect. Thank you for that, guys. Okay, moving on then. So the next thing we have is fire skid, and I think that was clear that we would use the park for the skate park, and that was clear to staff. And the actual skateboard park for the Ted Lewis, and that this one would stay.
Yes.
Good, just making sure. Fire skid donation is our next item. So, in March, ZBFD was made aware of, Global Medic, donating these, 1,000-liter holding tanks. Staff has gone through and fire department have gone through and given us a bunch of information about specialized certification and rural and remote communities. So it is fully funded. It will become the property of the village of Zeballos. We have a MOU, so a fire chief recommendation. Then we also have a CAO recommendation. So, comments and questions, you didn't have anything to add at this time. Okay, Councillor Janice.
Thank you. I think this is a great idea, and I think it's a piece of equipment that, you know, could potentially prevent a major forest fire by being available to, you know, access places that our truck couldn't. The only thing is that we cannot use this. We can't develop this without it having its own truck. So the village truck is too busy to be relied on for this process. So I think we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit. You know, we would probably want to consider obtaining a truck for it and putting the Zeballos Fire Department logo on it. I can see like something happening and that truck's not available, because it's often not available, right? And there's no way to depict how that's going to work, right? So if we're gonna invest in this, and I don't mean in money, but in time, then we're going to have to invest in it further with consideration of how it's going to be used. There's quite a bit of it right in the comments, but yeah, that's my number one thing. It would really be bad if we had this equipment and then needed it and weren't able to use it, and then people would be put in a position where they maybe want to go gung ho and use their own personal vehicle or who knows what. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Janice. I also see your hand as well, Councillor Deck.
Yes, thank you. Well, we have a very clever public works department, and we have a truck there we're trying to sell. So we do have another truck. A good sized truck too, a manly truck. So maybe it could be an alternative.
I think it's only two-wheel drive.
I'm seeing nods from Public Works Foreman Mahalik, but that is through to, I guess, the CAO. Is that a question to the CAO? Is that something that's possible? Or is that just comments from yourself? Councillor Deck, was that a question through to the CAO if that was possible? Or?
Oh, yes, if you want to give him a shake and wake him up there, it is a question for him, yeah.
To the through to the CAO then, Council's question to you would be, is that something that would even be considered that we could do?
Thank you. Absolutely. It would take a rescinding of the motion to sell it, for sure, but you know, without, you know, this sort of being a spur of the moment, we don't have the information we need. Councillor Janice makes a good point. It's only two-wheel drive. You know, would that be sufficient to get us where we need to go in the event of a fire? Keeping in mind that our jurisdiction for forest fires is only within the boundaries of Zeballos.
Absolutely, for sure. And I think you bring that up in your comments, right? The availability and the insurance covers those are things that have to be researched and thought of and have policies and procedures in place for.
Correct.
So, maybe put that in your pocket for while you're researching those things then, as per council's kind of, questions here. Anybody else? And I'm going the other way on this. I would say that, so I would go with council's or with CAO's recommendation. I think he's got it laid out pretty well, but I would remove the second piece that says, and that prior to deployment, staff be directed to. I think that in a case of an emergency, when the proverbial whatever hits the fan, that we do whatever we can and whatever we have to in that emergency to save homes and houses and people, businesses, all of those kinds of things. So that would be my only amendment to the CAO recommendation. So, I mean, I would be willing to make that motion, but if we want to, I do understand Councillor Janice's kind of comments about making sure that all of these things are in place first, or are being researched. I would hate to have that we enter into the memorandum of understanding with this company, that we have the infrastructure here, and that we have made a resolution that it can't be moved until all of these check marks are in place. I think these are important and they need to be done, but I don't know where they are at on the priority. Again, what are we doing to our staff? Right? So if these are all things, all these points that he's made, he's going to have to research. He's going to have to write policy. He's going to have to put maybe some find out what other people do with it. This is all fact-finding missions. And so while I do understand liability and those kinds of things, that would be my amendment, would be the prior to deployment be taken out of that, because then that gives him time to work and we still have the infrastructure here. So that's where I sit on it, is we could have the infrastructure, we could work through those things and give staff time to do so. Councillor Deck.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would say those are very prudent concerns, and I would follow you in this train of thought.
Okay, so further discussion here. None as of yet. Okay, well, I'm going to make a motion that the CAO's recommendation be moved forward. That the words prior to deployment be taken out of the motion. So it's as is, except for prior to deployment. That way, just in case a perfect storm arises and, they work through some of these issues, it can be used, but it's kind of on that, right, that the fire department has use of the infrastructure.
Second that.
That's a second from Councillor Lewis. More conversation about that? Do we need to? I know you definitely brought up some good points, Councillor Janice, so thank you for that. But I think those will all be included in the CAO's research.
I just like to see people set up for success, and I like to see that there's not the potential for anybody to be hurt while trying to help us, and I'd like to see that the village does not put itself in the place of liability over not being prepared properly.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Councillor Lewis, did you have?
Just to do with the sale of the garbage truck, then until such time as it's all figured out, do we rescind that motion then?
That's a different, I think that's let's get through this one first,
Okay.
the one that's on the table.
Okay.
And then yeah, absolutely. If you want to bring that back. Ooh, can we do that within our procedural bylaw bring it back for rescinding the same meeting. I'll send the CAO on a fact-finding mission for a second while I call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that is carried. So, let's see. And then
That, if I may speak,
yes, please.
you know, that unit is meant to be in the back of a pickup truck. And that truck, it doesn't even have a bed on it. So I think it's maybe ready for it to be retired. So I think that we should let that one go and maybe consider something a little, you know, that thing's 25 years old. So I think we should just follow through and we should look into the future of what else we could consider for it. Maybe something that also had enough room for 4 people in it, you know, like a crew cab, so that if we needed to take people to a scene, there was room. Take firefighters. Anyways, maybe we could ask through to Public Works what they think of that.
And yeah, it's tough to answer that question now, just because, like you said, it's a 25-year-old truck. It's been sitting for numerous years. It's very hard for me to judge what it would take to get that thing in good shape on and in working order to get on the road. It is set up for a garbage truck. There's 2 steering wheels in that. Things would have to be modified. There would need to be a bed made for it. There'd be a substantial amount of work to get it roadworthy. Again.
Thank you.
And I also think further to that, do we not have new infrastructure coming in that could carry that for electric vehicles, or could the Public Works truck be used for that? Well, Public Works was in their little electric ones, like these are all considered, this is all stuff that you've got to research. I know these are just off the cuff comments that council's coming at you with, so understanding that, but so what say you about rescinding a motion? Can we even do that in the same meeting?
So there is an entire section, accordance with the community charter, the mayor may require council reconsideration of a matter within 30 days after its resolution or adoption.
Okay, perfect. So, and you've got, of course, Christmas holidays to research all of this.
They got time on it. Yeah.
He's got time to research all of it. No, but thank you for that. Thanks for letting me know that so within 30 days means we could at this meeting if we wanted to, but also I think let's give time for staff to like, you know, think on this. Let's give them a minute so that we're not coming at them with a whole bunch of surprises and that they don't have the answers.
So here we go. A council member who voted affirmatively for a resolution adopted by council may at any time move to rescind that resolution.
Okay, perfect. So you could.
No, we'll just wait.
Thank
See
you
what
for
happens.
looking that up. This is why we have a procedural bylaw, folks. Awesome. Good to know for next time as well. Thank you. But that is something that's at your disposal,
Yeah.
but we'll give them time to ruminate.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was moved, seconded, that was done. We don't have any bylaws. There is no new business. There's a brand new year coming up, but we'll meet that one with trepidation and fear. We do have it in camera. Somebody wants to make I'll make the motion to go into accounts, in camera 91A, 91C, 92BI. Under those sections of the community charter. Personal information, labor relations, and confidence negotiations. That's been seconded. All in
Second.
favor? Any opposed? We do have a thing on an agenda called a public question and comment period. And I'm hoping now to address the gallery. if there's anything that was business items on this agenda that you would come forward and ask.
Okay, Lorna Wells, I live in this little town. How to do it. Okay, first of all, I can't see why a custom built trailer couldn't be built to carry this tank of water and it would be so that it could, if it was a trailer, it could be stored probably within the fire hall and be checked every so often that the tires are holding their pressure and that the water is filled, because you're not gonna wanna wait half an hour till that damn thing gets filled and goes to the fire. Okay. And it could be attached to, you could have it hooked to anybody who would volunteer their vehicle if it's just for in and around town. And it wouldn't have to be anything more than basically a four-wheel drive. Okay, here's my 2 cents in that regard. And I go, who is Ally Nielsen?
Nielsen. Ali Nielsen, and that was as much information as I have. That would be a fact-finding mission.
I think it has to be a fact-finding mission, because I've been here for 30 years and I've never ever heard anybody ever talk about this person. I have no idea if they've done anything to deserve having a place named after them. It's like the Slim Beal. And he was just a rum runner. And, you know, I mean, probably a nice person, but, you know, do you want to put him up on the park sign? I don't know. Anyway, the other thing is, I didn't know that the variance committee was still a thing. I don't mind being there. We only had 3 meetings in all the time I've been here, so. Big turnout of time, eh? Okay, I guess that's about it.
Thank you so much for those comments. Appreciate you being here in the gallery, seeing how it's done, where the movers in the, no, I'm just kidding. But no, we definitely do appreciate you being here. Thank you for that. And I hope you have a pleasant evening. We don't have a rise and report, so we have a,
Motion to adjourn.
do we have a seconder? Thank you.
Thank you so much for.
Have a good evening. Do I have a seconder?
Second,
All in favor?
third.
Both